It hasn't been working the last couple times.
No, well, I got banned for a while. That's part of the problem.
Oh, so like the stream
Too
key
many
changed
people
or
were
something?
tuning in.
Yep.
Government decided to shut us down.
Who broke YouTube?
Get ready. Get set. It's the Project Ion Podcast with Kevin, Andy, Jim, and Kyle, bringing you opinions on life from a basement in Northwest Iowa.
Oh, come on.
I really don't think that a president can do much about that issue.
You are fake news. So it's Calvin.
Well, let's say it's a guy named Seats.
I make you scared.
Man, this shit whack, man.
I want to save him until he goes through puberty.
Well, we haven't really had an episode, a good one, for a couple of months.
Whoa.
Time to get back on the saddle.
Here's the thing, though. We're just talking about the Twitter.
Yeah.
Here's what happens when I just pulled up Twitter. Your account is permanently suspended.
Perfect.
Really?
Bonus.
I've tweeted 3 times
You're
total.
permanently suspended, Spurge?
Permanently suspended. I'm in read-only mode.
Dang.
I can't be
You're a
Twitter.
bot.
I'm
They
a
botted
bot.
your ass.
The only thing I use Twitter for is on Saturday afternoons when I Google Iowa State football. I like to read all the tweets and the Google to figure out what's happening in the game.
The play-by-play.
Yeah. It's, not usually on network television. Hard to get in Wichita, Kansas.
Well, I don't even know what episode we're on, Spurge. Do you have any idea?
73.
Could be. As
Ish.
usual, amateur hour is upon us. But anyways, yeah. Project Ion, special edition. We got Tony. We got Cole.
The ToneColecast.
ToneColecast is going to be dope nasty.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some Pelosi.
We now know the identity of the man charged with bursting into Nancy Pelosi's home, looking for her and attacking her husband with a hammer. He's 32-year-old David Wayne DePape from
Look at this guy.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
That
Not a
is.
strong picture.
That is. Okay, name. Is there a MAGA person, though? Because assumption here is MAGA country, right?
Well, I assume so.
It's the assumption. It's
On the
Pelosi's
eve of the
husband.
election.
He's screaming, "Where's Nancy?" But is there a conservative person in Berkeley, California? One.
Yeah, that doesn't fit.
That doesn't fit the
Yep,
scenario.
that doesn't add up.
Doesn't add up.
Yeah.
The attack happened in San Francisco, a notorious liberal bastion for godlessness and sin.
We already know that someone doesn't like her because I think they.
I don't think anyone does like her, do they?
I mean, the people will keep electing her, so somebody does.
Well, because she's running and has a Dem next to her name. I don't think anyone thinks that Nancy Pelosi's a stellar human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Politician.
I mean, she is a politician. Just by definition, she should be a piece of shit.
Vapid.
Well, okay. That guy looks familiar, though. He's got one of those faces like...
Yeah, I'm gonna
He
beat
could
it.
be from Estherville for sure.
He could have been, but he's not. He's not eating at Woody's.
No.
He's from Estherville, but he's never had a pie.
All right, well, maybe we'll learn more as we proceed here.
Berkeley, California. He allegedly screamed, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" 82-year-old Paul Pelosi was struck on the head.
Oh, yeah.
82-year-old man.
Yes.
So they said that when the cops showed up,
They were fighting with us.
that guy and the 82-year-old
Each had a
were
hammer.
both clasping a hammer. The same hammer, I think.
I
Yep.
think.
That's what I
Otherwise,
understood,
there's a
yeah.
lot of hammers.
So that guy couldn't outfight an 82-year-old.
Correct.
I mean, the guy was...
And I was really confused when Cole texted us and said Paul Pelosi got hammered
I did too.
share our person.
because
I didn't know it was a literal
last
hammer.
time Paul
It was. That's why
Yeah.
I thought it was funny, kind of. At the
Yeah.
time, until I knew he got brain surgery.
Like, I
I
think-
felt a little guilty about it, but...
I think Cole's turned into a Republican
Oh,
here is what
Tony,
I'm worried
come on.
about.
Don't talk trash like that. That's terrible.
Because the last time Paul was in the news, because he also was hammered.
Yeah.
It was.
See, I thought it was a great,
Again.
great loop in.
Yeah, man. It's a double
Or
entendre.
he's hammering the stock market with their insider
Hey,
trading.
the Dow's up 800 points today.
Yeah.
Maybe
Coincidence? I think
Yeah,
not.
maybe just needed to get him out of it. I don't know.
Head and torso with a hammer. The attacker reportedly tried to tie him up and wait for Nancy. Video shows shattered glass doors in the back of the house in the fashionable Pacific Heights neighborhood of San Francisco.
Wait, I'm sure it's like $1 bajillion even to get like a tin shack out there. So
Yeah.
Home invasion
No one
took
would notice the shattered glass door. I mean, there's lots of premeditation going on here, clearly.
Or that guy in that neighborhood.
Right. Yes.
Like-
The mullet man.
Yes.
Yeah.
place at 2:27 a.m. Friday. And look, there's an object, possibly a hammer, lying on the carpet. Paul Pelosi called 911 without the attacker realizing.
Paul Pelosi is basically trying to tell her in code what's going on. Why are you here? What are you going to do to me? I mean, you can imagine how he's trying to not let the attacker know that 911 is listening.
Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody.
The House Speaker was at her Washington, D.C. home at the time of the attack. A spokesman said Mr. Pelosi was taken to the hospital where he is receiving excellent medical care and is expected to make a full recovery. Nancy Pelosi has a Capitol Police security detail 24/7, but they were
Brain surgery or something.
Well, he's got excellent medical insurance.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's funded by us. So.
That's right, Cole. Only the best.
Yeah.
Guaranteed by the Affordable Care Act.
That's right.
Oh, come on. That actually.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, gosh darn it. Why would we want to get rid of pre-existing conditions? And, yeah.
Why would we have to give a big, giant hand job to all the major insurance companies?
I didn't say it was perfect, but it wasn't. Some of it was intended to be good. Pre-existing. I mean, you can't. No one. Who can argue with pre-existing?
No public option.
Spurgeon. I just, you know.
Isn't that what they say about the road to hell, though, with the intentions and stuff?
I mean, they
to
could have been
Yeah.
They could have been confirming judges during that time.
Yeah, they were planning ahead, I guess. Since that worked out really well for Democrats.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, like, what kind of vampire juice or stem cells or whatever these people... I mean, they're all, like, a gazillion years old.
That guy was 82.
And he fought off a guy in his 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more of a testament to the guy in his 30s than the guy in
Well,
his 80s.
you're more of an indictment of the 30-year-old guy, yeah. Perhaps. But still.
He's still got some adrenaline, though. I mean, even in your 80s, your adrenaline works, right? I mean,
It
you get
does,
excited.
Bro, I
have no idea.
I gave vaccines all
attest
over
that
the
it
nursing
does.
homes, and I've seen some 82-year-olds.
Oh, yeah. I have as well. They
all
Stronger
shapes
than
and
you
sizes.
think, huh?
All shapes and sizes.
flight or fight.
not at the San Francisco house because she was not there.
Before we go, we want to send our best to Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, a lovely, lovely man who was brutal.
She's fundraising, Spurge.
No.
Yeah, man.
In Washington, D.C., she's not even fundraising in her home area?
I feel like
Where's the money at, Spurge?
She could probably fundraise anywhere she wants.
San Francisco, Tony.
Yeah. I feel like those people probably just write a monthly check, though.
Oh, yeah. To a shell corp or a super PAC. Yeah.
Brutally attacked in his own home in the middle of the night. Nancy's husband, Paul.
Here's what we have learned about the accused attacker. He sells hemp jewelry.
Yes.
He's a
hemp jewelry, conspiracy theorist, and a racist. Whoa. It's a trifecta.
How can we label this man, then?
Two of these things are not like the other, if you ask me.
Oh, man.
I love that.
If you believe, okay, so conspiracy theorist, racist, I feel like those two kind of fit in the same bundle.
Conspiracy
but the
theorist
selling hemp jewelry
and conspiracy theories
I don't know, man.
also go together.
Yeah.
You know, that's the tie.
That's true.
That's the type, because those hippy dippies.
Yeah, they can be pretty.
They start talking about
tinfoily, I
their
suppose.
organics and their all that kind of stuff.
Was he self-medicating with the hemp jewelry, do you think?
Oh yeah, he lives in San Francisco. He's doing a lot of drugs.
Probably just walk down the street, can't you? I mean,
yes. The Tenderloin. You ever been there?
I've never been to Cali.
Quick San Francisco story. So, my cousin played softball for Stanford, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after I took the bar, I wanted to go see her play because it was like my last chance. She was a senior that year. So, Laura and I go to San Francisco, and we do a day trip or whatever to a bus tour thing to go see the city. And we take the we're staying kind of by Stanford, which is to the south of the city. So we had to ride the train to get in there anyways. So we get to the actual inside San Francisco, and the thing where we have to go to get on the bus is like miles away from when we were going to ride the trolley deal.
Yeah.
But it was completely fucked. There was 1,000 people. We couldn't get in line. So we're just like, okay, we got to make a decision here. We got like 30 minutes. Let's just hoof it. So we're walking through the Tenderloin, hurdling homeless people and Chinese people, and
dodging heroin needles,
and skipping heroin needles, and we're just breaking a sweat, and it was a disaster, but we made it.
A couple of Iowa folk out for a stroll in
Yeah.
the Tenderloin.
Oh man, never again. I mean, like people are just like you step over them, they like kind of roll over with their plastic bag, like, no, don't bother
they're
me.
pooping.
Yeah, yeah.
Pooping everywhere. There's poop.
Feces everywhere.
Yeah. There's here too, but it's in the fields at least.
Yeah. Yep. You guys ever been?
Once.
No.
Yeah.
I went for a pharmacy conference and presented some research out in San Francisco, and as a fellow, so I wasn't making very much money. The college gave me like $100 stipend, which was nice in the most expensive city in America. They don't have. Spoiler alert: they don't have just like a Holiday Inn in San Francisco. So I stayed at this boutique hotel, which is hipster language, for like $350 a night for
Airbnb type
a
deal.
small bed with like an open bathroom concept and on top of a nightclub. And it was a strange place, man. San Francisco's a weird. I did go up to the Haight-Ashbury, which was an interesting little area. My buddy lived like next door to Janis Joplin's old house.
Oh, cool.
He was one of 12 living in that house.
Jesus.
He shared a bathroom with 4.
Yeah.
Had his own room though.
You don't need it the whole time.
You just rent it.
It's a very underutilized room.
And shared the kitchen. There was, I think, maybe 2 little kitchenettes or something, and he paid more than I paid for my 2-bedroom attached garage townhouse in Iowa City.
Yeah. In Iowa City.
In Iowa City too. Yeah. He was paying like $1,300 a month for his little room.
Yeah, the rents are nuts out there.
Well, and you like, yeah, I'm sure you get paid more to do your job there, but
I don't know if it makes up for it.
How
though.
how does anyone buy any house there?
Right.
When you can't get anything for less than $3 million.
Yeah, I was looking on Zillow, and you could get like kind of a modest place on the west side of town.
Oakland?
No, I'm talking
west.
in San Francisco, so like
Okay,
kind of towards the park and the ocean side, away from the financial district and all the rest of it. I don't know, $1.5 million, 2, something like that.
For
fairly modest,
for a 2-bedroom, 1
yeah,
bath.
I mean,
my buddy Pat lives in San Luis Obispo, which is like halfway between San Francisco and LA. Is how he always describes it. Cal Poly's there, and he was house hunting, and they were having to submit bids sight unseen, and they were getting outbid by 6 figures. 6 digits. And I'm like, bro, I bought a 5-bedroom house for $150.
Yep. In fairness, though, you do know people.
I know some shady realtors. Jill cooks the books. I got a lawyer to make sure we're all.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's privileged information.
Yep. I will neither confirm nor deny.
You have to ask the special master.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorist and espouses racist views. He's 6'2" and weighs 250 pounds. This is him dancing with the bride at a nudist wedding outside San Francisco City Hall in 2013. President Biden expressed out.
He was the only person close.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's at the nudist wedding.
Right.
Guilt by association. Liberal.
Yeah, what is Potato Joe?
Rage. A horrible attack, he said, adding he was praying for Paul Pelosi and Speaker Pelosi's whole family. And the FBI foiled an alleged plot to assassinate Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in July. Nancy Pelosi was a key target of the January 6th rioters. And her home has been attacked before. The garage door was daubed with graffiti in a protest last year. And now this.
When will it ever stop?
Yep. It's getting out of control. Headed towards a civil war.
So the whole assassinate Kavanaugh thing, was that really an assassination?
This is the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So it was a dude from Cali, like from LA, traveled across the country with like a Glock and like kind of a rape bag or kind of some kind of like
a kit
that he was going to kidnap.
Little Dexter kit.
Yeah, Dexter, perfect. That's way better than the rapey vibe thing. But
there's a bunch of good
Your
weird
beard's
there.
putting that vibe out plenty, Cole.
But yeah, his Dexter kit. But I mean, when he like showed up, it had been like 2 weeks that they'd been protesting, and so they had U.S. Marshals surrounding the entire block. So
Was this a row thing?
Yeah, it was right after row. So yeah, the guy gets out of a
Uber
and standing there in front of Kavanaugh's house with his backpack and his Glock and his, it's not like he can pull it out with two or three marshals. Like, what's this idiot doing here?
I'm here to do an assassinate.
So he starts walking away. And of course, they follow him.
Takes an Uber to the Supreme Court Justice's house with a gun.
I know it's some poor
I think he like had a breakdown
didn't...
and called his sister or
he
something.
Did, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So
he's
yeah,
like,
he was
I'm
on the
here,
phone.
yeah. So like I don't know. Did they even charge him?
Didn't he call 911 on himself?
That might be. Yeah. Did they even
think he
charge
did.
him with anything?
I did hear about that.
Yes,
now.
he did. He
now
called
that you
911
said that,
and said I'm in front of Kavanaugh's house or something.
I've been planning this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's your insanity plea, right?
The guy's
crazy.
going to prison though. I just thought I read something not too long ago about. He's gonna actually get some hard time for it.
Is it hard to get an insanity plea, Jim?
It is,
Probably pretty
yeah.
hard, right? Because
I
you got to
think, yeah.
prove you don't know the difference between
Yeah,
right
I'm
and
a little.
wrong or something.
I can't remember what the exact elements are, and I suppose it could be different state to state. But yes, it is a pretty heavy burden. I think you've got to.
You can't just start like gnawing off your finger. or
Well,
something in
yeah.
jail.
I mean, you can be the.
because then I
stupidity
think.
doesn't
Well,
count.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's that you're like insane, so you can't stand trial. But once then you go to the hospital, you got to keep that
Yeah.
up the rest of your life. Otherwise, you're competent to stand trial.
Right.
Well, is that how that? Because I feel like if you get sentenced one way, right, you're good then. Like you can all. I mean, isn't there cases where someone has done that, gone to the madhouse and then gotten out?
Well,
because they've come around.
But then they don't stand trial.
If you go in for like murder one, say like intentional murder or something, and then you successfully are able to defend an insanity defense, what they won't just cut you loose and say, well, you're crazy, here you go, but they'll stick you in a institution or something, so you do out the same life sentence. You're just in an institution.
Say like they're not able to stand trial, like they're considered
not competent,
like eating peanut butter under their butt or something. I mean, Wasn't there a movie about like that?
I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be impressed.
We don't watch the same movies.
Not familiar.
No, this is like a mainstream movie.
Despite being a card-carrying member of the Video Warehouse for the past 20 years, I've never seen
look up that movie.
that particular film.
No, because
You need to call Burton in for this one.
It's a quoted because it made me think of it because the guy, some lawyer's talking about how the guy got off in an insanity plea. He had put chunky peanut butter in his butt crack. Was talking to the judge, turned around.
Stop now.
We're
recording call. It's on the internet.
But it's a real thing.
5 people are gonna watch this.
Yeah,
2 of them are Grimses.
Oh
it was
shit!
a big movie, man. It was a real deal. I'm gonna find it. You guys are all gonna laugh and know about it because I'm gonna remember here eventually. Despite the golden lights, it's gonna come back.
We're gonna get a text tomorrow.
Yeah. Here it is.
It's called butt crack peanut butter.
Butt crack peanut butter in court. It's a risky. Oh, I'd love to see Cole's like Google search history.
Yeah. Right?
Bad idea.
Oh dear,
Jimmy, do you listen to Madison Cunningham, or is that just a random recommendation?
I recommended, I think, but I don't. I've never. Is she good? Have you heard her before?
Matt Michael's in love with her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. She must be a guitar player if she's got a pedal board.
Yeah, she plays guitar, and she played a concert in Kansas City last month, or a month and a half ago. Leah was up in Ames at the Iowa State Career Fair.
Okay.
And it was like Matt was going down to Kansas City to see this concert. Leah was on her way back, so
they met up and went together.
So Leah got to see her in concert.
Nice. What is she like? Pop, rock, country?
I have no
idea. Okay.
No. I just saw that there. Thought I'd ask.
Yeah. Well, Sweetwater's a retailer for music stuff, so I suppose that's probably what that's all about. All right. Well, what is it? Let's complete the arc here.
Training Day. He's
Training
talking to,
Day.
So
Denzel Washington.
Denzel's talking to Ray Liotta.
Okay. Put it by the mic, Cole.
You can talk to the Fed, you talk to him first. Good man, he can take your back for you. Stan Gertzke.
Let's fast forward through this nonsense. It's turned into a debacle.
Get to the butt crack.
Oh, here we go.
Tell him the story. Come on, tell the story. You think it's so funny? You tell it. No, it's your story. You tell it.
The random movie blot going into my brain.
All right. Serial burglar. Chasing him for 12 months. The real slickster gave up nothing. Captain's riding my ass the entire time. Sentencing was today. Judge is female. That's right. Landers. Yeah, I know Landers. She's a sharp lady. So before the hearing, guy gets hold of some peanut butter, packs his ass cracked with it. And he's standing tall before the bench, and he's waiting to give a statement. So he shoves his hand down his pants, comes out with a gob of extra chunky Jif. Bailiffs won't come near him.
Don't know why it came back to me in that moment, but I thought it was,
Next time I'm in court.
Yeah. Yep. When my back's against the wall, that's what I'm gonna do for sure.
Extra chunky Jeff.
Well, what else is in the news, boys?
Midterms are coming up.
Uh-huh.
I actually spoke with 2 legislative squads this week.
Oh yeah, is there some pharmacy?
Yeah, there's
legislation that you're concerned about, or
there's some hubbub, some bullshit. One was and they're both Cole's favorites. It's just his senators.
2 favorite people.
Talk to Chuck's and Joni's health policy advisors. There was the Joni one was TRICARE, which is the insurance for active and some retired military that's outside the VA.
That she voted against, you mean?
They gave
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Buff Scrub, baby, back on my vanilla. Trying to get down and get my hair real quick.
Contract to Express Scripts.
Stop. Thank you.
Who is the devil?
Oh, yeah.
One of the devils. And Express Scripts told the independent pharmacies of the country, essentially, all the independent pharmacies, take it or leave it with these new contracts, and we're implementing them in the middle of October. We look at the contracts, and in the contracts, we'd lose money on 90% of the prescriptions that would roll through. We'd be reimbursed less than we pay for the drugs. 90%.
There was a video. Sorry, Spurge, I don't mean to
you're
interrupt
good.
you. There was a video that I wanted a rocket that I wanted Tony to watch next time I had him on. So this is
Welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee.
That's a big dog, right?
Yo ass could be named.
Damn it. This fucking computer. Okay.
Stevie's Saturn V model rocket, world record flight. Let's watch the action.
30 seconds out from the launch of Stevie's world record attempt. 10 scale Saturn V. This rocket weighs 1,600 pounds. It's being launched on a combination of 8 N motors and 1 central P motor. Expected altitude is between 3 and 4,000 feet. And if Steve is ready, I am ready, Tom's ready, and we're going in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition!
Could that really hit 4,000 feet?
Just like Rocket Day at Thornton Park, boys.
More.
It's bigger.
You know, Rocket Day was dope.
It was.
Did they get rid of that, or what the hell happened?
Oh, I'm sure.
The liability. I remember. I like the.
What's the problem? A bunch of sixth graders with explosives.
I don't get it. This damn Nerf generation.
I know for a fact that there were kids in my class. Did you? You weren't in Ingwall, were you?
No.
So I know for a fact that someone in, I'm not going to name any names, but someone in Ingwall's class definitely showed a few extra
engines. Yeah.
Is that a Derek Lester thing?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to name names. The Lester Mobile may have had a few extra engines in it.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
sounds
no
like
one can
Derek.
believe that, I'm sure.
Well, John was into all rockets and stuff, I think.
Anything explosive. He was a pilot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, you could get, it's like a routine rocket, whatever, because the engines are like A, B, C, D, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And it gets bigger.
Apparently there's a P. I didn't
It's
know there was a P.
exponent. It's like double though. Like a B is twice as strong as an A.
Okay.
So
oh shit.
I'm pretty sure that's
So
how
a
it works.
P is like-
when he was saying N's and P's, like, well, a P's like
it's like a
4 times as big as an N.
Like a paint can.
Yeah, that's some big power. They
awesome.
do a big launch in Argonia, Kansas every year. They have a field where they launch rockets.
Model
down there.
rockets.
This is like hour and a half southwest of Wichita, in the middle of nowhere, and they have a waiver for airspace up to 50,000 feet down there.
Whoa.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
Holy shit.
That's
So
way up
launch
high.
Yeah.
Model rockets, supersonic, way up. But
pretty
they
good.
they don't launch in the middle of the summer though, because the
Wind.
because the
Fire?
wheat fields are
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they don't want to start a wildfire,
Well, I mean,
and they want to be able to find the rocket when they're done.
I'm pretty sure
They got some
six.
big money invested if they're hitting that.
So
space.
actually, they wait until harvest is over.
I'm pretty sure that's
the wheat's tall,
sixth
they don't
grade.
launch. So
Rocket Day is probably how Elon got started with SpaceX, right? Probably got interested. You see, those rockets are crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool shit that they're doing.
That is.
But yeah, I mean, like you could take a routine kind of run-of-the-mill rocket and then jam like a D-size engine in it, and
oh yeah,
because there's no weight. Like,
I had a mosquito. I did the mosquito.
Yeah, the little dinky one. Yeah.
Because my parents were like, "Well, you want to launch a rocket? You can pay for it." And I was like, "Well, this one's the cheapest one in there." So it was a little. It was the smallest motor you could get in a tube, with like 3 tongue depressors stuck to the end of it for fins. That was my rocket.
Well, all the damn things were like, I had one of the big ones, and they were just like the paper towel rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, connected with basically tongue depressors.
I think both were you guys both in my physics class with Vasher? Tony might not have been. Cole was.
I didn't have any classes
for
with
sure.
Vasher.
Was that
Brandon Umshide?
I never took
Yeah,
physics.
we did the egg. We were supposed to do the egg.
We designed a rocket and sent an egg up, and we were trying to return it back.
I remember duct tape was involved in that.
Yeah, but then also dipshit Umshide.
I think the duct tape is his.
He put the
You just have to say
parachute
Umshide.
on the wrong side of the tube, and so the engine
Whoops.
side came down nice and soft, but the egg, the payload side, came down
splattered.
Well, gravity is just a theory.
Yeah.
It was like
Gravity is a theory. It's not provable.
Yep.
And it breaks down in quantum.
Bunch of BS, said gravity.
Oh, that's cool though.
That thing was kind of interesting because I think I was part of the hey, we should do this. It sounds fun. Because it was some rocket thing where
It was a competition between schools, right?
Right.
See how high you could send it and bring it back down or something?
Because they sent you a free altimeter
Yes.
after you applied for it. So you had to stick the altimeter, the egg. I think we just used like a large
tissue.
Yeah, and like a Easter egg cup, like a big size Easter egg cup or something, right? I mean, it was pretty mediocre.
It was hacked.
In middle school, we threw eggs off the
out
top of the school
window or whatever. Yeah, that was.
I was no good at that either. Not really a design guy.
Jamin McCain's brother threw my, I think it was a rocket out of a window.
Josiah,
yes.
Yeah. I see Jammin' McKean around every now and then.
Do you?
Yeah, he's in town, I think.
Really?
He's a guitar player.
Seen that kid.
I knew that.
Like
yeah.
Like I think he's what are those? What's the finger thing?
Flamenco
with the not with your pick hand, the other hand, finger tapper.
Oh, okay.
I think he does the finger tapping.
Okay.
Stuff. Pretty sure he has a YouTube channel.
Oh, cool. Well, we should maybe check him out and
Look
see.
up Jammin' McKean.
Yeah.
My only introduction to non-Christianity growing up. He was JW.
Yeah, because he's sat out for every holiday ever.
Couldn't give him a cupcake on my birthday.
It's like Valentine's Day. Oh, Jamin's got to sit in the hallway.
That's the
And that was
ever. I forgot
and that was
those
the
kids
shit.
were
That was the
Jehovah's.
shit. They had to leave, shun.
Yeah.
shun them and go sit in the hall or.
That's right.
Go sit in the office for an hour.
No
while we
shit.
have
That's like a lawsuit today.
100%'s a lawsuit.
Okay, weird kid.
And you'd probably win.
Here you go.
Oh man, school's changed, Jim.
Big time. Which, speaking of which, I want to get Kyle on so we can have a epic education segment situation
about the Bright Brigade.
I've got 9,000 education videos queued up, ready to go.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Bright Brigade.
He'll send us updates from their continuing education situations and a lot of icebreakers.
Yep.
Let's say that. A lot of the ice is broken.
Yeah, good stuff.
I don't know. I'll just see Mr. West around town, and most days I see him cruising around.
How is he still functioning at this point?
Camels without filters, and last time I saw him, he had some Cheerios in his passenger seat that he was munching on.
15 years ago, he had deteriorated into like this decrepit state, and I'd see him cruising around and just have a cig, you know, like,
one off another, one off another.
Yeah.
Well, James West.
Yeah.
And his wife. Like I told my text, I'm like, you know whose wife that is. They're so polar opposite.
Yeah.
It's
Suzanne.
so funny. Oh, she's such a just a pure person. Like,
She is.
growing veggies and making nice with bunnies.
You
Then you got Jim
Suzanne,
West. All right,
We're gonna skip ahead to World War II because we got to catch up with Macaulay's class. Juicy. Let's just say we got him. On to Vietnam.
We did skip some stuff, didn't
Yes!
we? I think that's, man, the old Estville education system. That brought it all back to me.
Yep.
Okay, people. Back when men were men.
Yeah.
We're going to skip over World War I. And so forth. Back to 2. Germans bad guys again.
We had this whole Jimbo and I had this whole shtick thing where like we'd imagine West ordering a burger from Hardee's or something in the drive-thru, and he'd go up to the thing and be like,
Okay, I'll take a cheeseburger. Give me a pack of Marlboro Reds. Unfiltered.
"This is epic."
Well, and now they're shunned off school campus to smoke. And so I see this teacher smoking kind of by Sea Wing, but across the street.
Oh, no way.
In front
Really?
of those 3-part, and they stand between the cars. So Fix is
Vic,
out there.
yeah.
You know, because she used that. She had that door right there.
Yeah, you just pop
Right
right out.
ripping smokes. You had Miss Bish out there smoking Winston's.
Yeah, man.
The Winston's. The only person I ever know that smoked Winston's. I
Yuck.
didn't realize it was an actual, brand. I knew they owned a bunch of brands. But
Maybe that's why she had to have the gloves.
yeah, that could have been.
Oh my
I always
god, I
used to-
forgot all about the gloves.
That's
Oh,
She's a lady.
plaque psoriasis or something, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
Leprosy. That would have been all over. So it had to have been just.
I was such a
something funky.
dick in high school that we'd show up for weightlifting at 6:30, whatever it was.
Way too early.
Way before Cole was there.
Yeah. Definitely not there in time.
And
there was never.
And you know how her Monte Carlo had that primo spot?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, there's
One
no.
was yellow, wasn't
There's
it?
no black.
No.
Black.
It was something goofy, wasn't it?
I think it was black or red.
Who's
Red.
Red.
Was it red?
Red.
Yep. Just like her personality.
It was red. But there was no sign. It was just known that that's where the principal parks. So I said, fuck it. Parked my 1981 Mercury Monarch.
Yes, the Monarch.
the golden nugget. Dude, that car was primo.
It's like 2 couches.
Yeah.
That just rolled.
Just forever.
Oh, it was amazing.
Had no shocks, no front shocks. I could get the front of that car because it weighed so much. If you hit the gas brake, you could get it off the ground in the front because it's just 2 big giant springs.
Oh, that's good stuff.
And I bought it with 20,000 miles on it for $1,000 from my great grandmother.
Is that all it had on it?
20 grand.
20,000.
20 grand. 20K. She was new. Then I totaled it in the parking lot. It's Profe
Jimmy,
Carlson.
My favorite story about West was talking about how Napoleon was defeated.
Oh, yeah.
Napoleon was finally defeated in the Battle of Waterloo, which took place near Cedar Falls, Iowa. I still tell Leah that every now and then. She just rolls her eyes. I was like, oh yeah, Battle of Waterloo.
What was the thing about the Hindenburg? And then
Otto von Hindenburg was reincarnated and blew up over New Jersey.
That's amazing.
When can we bring Zeppelins back?
There's talk.
Yeah,
they
Tony.
keep talking about it.
Bro, I think, isn't it like super efficient?
Yeah. Just
slow.
slow.
The whole blowing up thing.
Just slow. Well, you don't use hydrogen.
Yeah.
Use
well,
helium.
Helium's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And hard to get now, right?
Yeah.
I can't even get it. I've been trying to fill a 40 cubic foot bottle that's this size just to fill balloons with, like party balloons.
Yeah.
You can't get it.
Can't buy helium.
Why is it so hard to obtain?
It's just rare.
It's an inert gas that, like, you have to capture it, and it's like there's only so many atoms of helium floating around in the universe, right? And
how do you attract it? When
Congress, in its infinite wisdom, eliminated the strategic national reserve of helium in like 2006.
Who was president?
President then? Yeah.
Before
I'm trying to
that,
remember.
from World War II until whenever, I don't know what year it was, Cole. Don't jump to conclusions.
I feel like you're absolutely right.
We kept a strategic reserve of helium.
Because there's a finite amount on Earth.
Basically, so that we could fill blimps.
No, because it's.
But it created this massive, overstock situation in the world, and that doesn't exist anymore. So
They use the shit out of helium though for like CT scanners.
Well,
or MRIs or
yeah,
there's
the
major medical purposes for it, right?
It's really popular with, I don't know, integrated circuits and stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
but I mean, it's only gone. I mean, if you had like the world's supply of helium, you would be a trillionaire or something.
yeah, I mean, it's two atoms, right?
We need to learn how to.
You can chemically create hydrogen.
We need to learn how to.
You have to have like nuclear fusion to create.
Okay.
They're working on that
Comes
over
out
in
of
China.
the sun,
They're working on that in China. They achieved a real hot temp for a long time the other day.
Okay.
Or a couple weeks ago.
Good.
You ever seen Spider-Man too, Cole?
Yeah,
I'm all for more helium in the world.
The tritium was it? No, that was a different movie.
Although
Spider-Man.
hydrogen has better lifting power. So.
Okay. Well, anyways, blimps. So, blimps in the forecast or not?
Probably not realistically.
I think
the nice thing about a blimp, in theory, you don't have to. It's not like a balloon; you got to fill it every flight.
Yeah.
But look up the old. I mean, because we had blimps, the Akron and the USS Macon. The Navy had a whole bunch of blimps. And they're really good, like, until a thunderstorm builds up.
Was it for, like, recon? Like, what was this?
Yeah.
You fly them up real high. And
heavy lifting, though, too, right?
They can carry it. Yeah, they can carry it. It's like
because it's huge.
Of weight.
Yeah, it's so much.
But there's these great photos. I think it's the Macon. I've seen it in the Balloon Museum twice. I can't remember the name. Whichever airship it was, where it's moored, because what they do is they put this little stand up and then they hook the nose of the blimp to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that way it's like a weather vane. Whichever way the wind blows, it just turns and points in the wind. It's great. And there's this great set of photos from the 30s of this naval airship where this giant gust of wind comes through and it just flips the damn thing and it does an endo. Okay. And there's guys like on the ship
inside the
and it went to like 80 degrees and then flopped
Swung
over on
back
the other
around.
side. It's crazy.
Hmm.
Anyways,
sounds intense.
The German Zeppelins, they were in the 20s.
Yeah.
That was the peak of luxury worldwide travel,
Hop in a Zeppelin and
It only
fly
took
around,
5 days to cross the Atlantic.
Wow.
No problem.
And they had like,
I mean, that's better than a
propellers
cruise in
on
my
them and
mind.
stuff.
You
Yeah.
can see a lot more.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, from up there, but
It's the whole blowing up thing. It's kind of a downer.
Only happened once.
That's all it took, though, right? It's kind of
That-
destroyed the Zeppelin business for eternity.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm having a hard time like getting a handle on how big they were. So I mean, if it was doing
True.
some kind of a transatlantic flight, it must have, like, the cabin space must have been pretty
They're giant.
considerable.
Yeah.
So then the actual balloon part must have been huge. Like,
Yeah.
Where did the Hindenburg...
Like hundreds of feet long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where did the Hindenburg blow up? I mean, was it...
In New Jersey.
Okay. Because, I mean, I think there's good pictures of the explosion itself.
Oh, yeah.
And then the landing, it's right outside a city somewhere, and it must be New Jersey.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's legit...
The Akron that
and it's
Tony was
massive,
talking
man.
about was 785 feet long.
Yeah.
And 144 feet wide.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's big.
Yeah. That's
That's
huge. That's like a
big.
city block or something.
2.5
Maybe
football
more.
fields?
Yeah. Jesus.
Imagine that shadow coming over your town.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Way cool.
Yeah, but around here, people would probably be shooting at it and stuff. I can see that happening.
Sure.
They actually had.
Tyler Anderson would get his Glock out and start poking at
I think
it.
they had. They actually had scaffolding on the outside of it. They could patch holes and shit in
I
flight.
think Tyler Anderson can afford a gun.
He doesn't need a gun. He's
He doesn't.
already a
Biden gave
lethal
him-
weapon.
He is always going off on Facebook about how this generation will never beat the 90s babies, which use their fists. He wants the fist.
He likes to throw hands.
He loves throwing.
He's a cage fighter or something, right? Or
Yeah,
allegedly.
that's on YouTube too. Seen it.
Yeah.
Ask.
Does he?
Would you expect
Of
anything
course.
Well, he was like he
was
wrestled
JV
a little, didn't he?
He was JV All-Star.
But he wasn't that good.
No, he was JV all 4 years.
Was he really?
Oh yeah, he didn't wrestle varsity.
Okay.
That was back when wrestling was like loaded up though.
You'd like sneeze at him, he'd fall over. Type of
I think the
thing.
wrestling
He's a
team
pretty skinny guy.
has
Yeah.
dwindled from what I understand.
I don't know. I was never into wrestling. Seemed like a silly.
I think all the Bonners have graduated. Haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you eaten in Gretinger?
They're alive and well for sure.
Every single one of them's under that roof, and you will get a Bonner size.
We're talking about wrestling. I think they're all out of school, is what I was saying.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
how old's Justice Kid?
No, he's not that old.
He's at least 10, I bet.
Yeah, 10 or 12.
Who? Justice Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
probably.
come up then.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he'll be a wrestler.
Well, good
football player
deal.
probably.
But you go to Gretinger, you get Bonner sized portions.
Or
I have,
like Kulo,
I have-
Bonner, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Eric's there. Eric's
Oh, I know.
bartending.
Oh, I know. Steve, I think's down there too.
Steve's there.
Yeah. Eric's probably
Tammy?
driving him around. Oh,
Running
Tammy
around.
definitely, yeah.
I'll probably. Are they open Sundays?
Yeah.
They are.
I'll probably be eating there Sunday. I predict.
Delicious. I recommend the blackened walleye.
Senior will want to go out to eat after we hunt. I bet.
Celebration.
Yeah. Yep. So. Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Tell senior the only thing you can do is field dress and eat right there.
Yeah.
Make a little.
Some
Well,
pheasant bites.
how about let's talk the pipeline? What do you guys know about the?
I don't know anything about that CO2 pipeline, really. I wish I could have gone to that.
Carbon
meeting.
Pipeline Company is taking.
So here's us, and it looks like we're getting
It's Armstrong. Screw him.
yeah, Groover-ish maybe.
Groover probably. Yeah.
Nobody.
I wish we had a quote from Dave Anderson. I bet he has something to say about it.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, was it a year ago or something this started, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, Ferger, this is Ferger's in the newspaper. He's like,
Yep.
nobody I've talked to supports this.
Yeah.
Not a single landowner,
Yep.
not a single farmer in the county I've talked to who supports this.
Well, so get this. The guy that's running against Feenstra right now for District 4 is a
Young dude, right?
young dude.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Tony and I were roommates with him way back in.
He's a baseball player.
Was he a baseball player?
I think so.
Okay, well, I remember kind of a hairy, smelly, fat guy that lived with us for like a week when we first moved into the apartment. And his name, I would bet, put money on it, it's the same guy. But, you know, I'm like a little fuzzy.
What's his name?
Ryan Melton. So
That does sound really familiar.
look him up. So, anyways, see if he rings a
Not
bell.
from a political standpoint, but
And anyway, yeah, he's went to Iowa State. He was there at the same time.
I was thinking of someone very different.
I don't recognize that guy.
And he never came out of his room. And yeah.
And then
I
he
saw
was
him
just-
like twice.
and then he was just gone?
Well, he was like, I think it was a thing where he was there summer term and it like overlapped a little bit with the fall kids or whatever. And that's when Tony and I moved in and stuff. So he was out of there by like October 1st or something.
Was that a campus house?
And then the
Campus
next
apartment?
spring, yeah, so this was campus housing.
Okay.
That's when the Austrian kid came.
Oh.
Was for the January
Yeah,
through
Franz Joseph.
Franz Joseph, yeah. Franz Ferdinand showed up. But yeah, I'm like I swear he was our roommate. Anyways, so where I'm going with this was he's ultra liberal Democrat running against Feenstra
in Northwest Iowa.
Northwest Iowa. Steve King emails him and is like, "Hey, the pipeline sucks." So super liberal man, ex-roommate, and Steve King are odd bedfellows now over the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
weird.
Actually,
way weird.
I almost
into the pipeline.
Like they're all opposed to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve King hates it.
But
liberal man hates it.
That's because Steve King owns farmland in
Yeah.
Northwest Iowa. I almost texted Cole when I drive up here, I come through Harlan Dennison.
Yeah,
and
Steve
then
King country.
Well, Kyron is, I believe, where Steve King lives. I'd come right through there. Yeah.
Probably driving a bulldozer
It
in the
rem-
middle of town.
It's not that big of a town, Cole. It might be smaller than Ringsted.
That's why I thought it was funny driving a bulldozer around town. I mean,
So what year would that have been, Jim? Just out of curiosity.
So this
I feel like there's a biography.
I'm thinking
2006.
this would have been like fall of 6. Yeah, fall of 2006.
So he graduated Iowa State in 05.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not the same guy then.
And then went to Kansas, UK, University of Kansas.
Okay.
Well, that's one reason not to vote for him.
unless he played basketball for Kansas.
Especially if he played basketball for Kansas.
Oh my God, they're awful. Living in Kansas City.
My greatest source of entertainment is my best buddy Mike, who's a rabid KU fan.
Oh no,
basketball boy.
Everything KU,
Oh, okay.
and he really is.
Having
He's
a
got
great year then.
Well, he's got season tickets in all sports. Oh yeah, he's having a great year. Except he's slowly realizing that they ain't going to a bowl game.
No.
They're gonna end
They're
up
gonna
with
lose
5
everything.
wins.
Yep.
The old Blue Bowl.
It's kind of yeah.
And it's just gonna be
Blue Bowl.
another, and it is
Disappointing.
it is better, but it's still just another year in KU football history.
It's kind of like being a Gopher fan. I mean,
Yeah.
they get your expectations up over and over and over again, and then they just gonna disappoint you.
But I do like to just keep pointing out all the hypocrisy of college sports to him and all that good stuff.
There's a lot to
We
point
have
out
we
too.
have we have a good time. We have a really good time. We are good friends.
So, and I'm trying to understand. I don't know this pipeline. So where is this CO2 coming from?
This is great. This is great.
So it's coming
Ethanol
from
plants, I
ethanol
think,
plants
right?
That they're gonna dump into the ground in North Dakota so they can frack more.
No.
I thought it was a sequestering
it's a
thing.
Well, it
it's
is,
not
but-
at the same level as fracking. They
But the point is to
decided
put the
that they got
pressure-
all this carbon dioxide laying around.
From the
It's a
ethanol
bait and switch,
byproduct.
They can't put it in the atmosphere because that's not good for the atmosphere.
That's mean.
And so they've decided that there's some certain rock formations in North Dakota and
That they
some
frack.
others in southern Illinois
Okay.
that are perfect for
Perfect shale
storing
gas areas.
carbon dioxide.
So you just stick it in these shale formations.
So they're
and-
going to pump it down there.
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with.
They can't
changing-
pump it under the ground here. They got to pump
Right.
it over there.
and nothing to do with like putting pressure down enough to exert
Cole,
the gas back up.
as long as the earthquake's less than like a 2.5, you won't even feel it. Believe me.
You feel
I
more
know.
when you fart.
You're right.
And then, so Tony...
We haven't had any earthquakes at home since oil went below $100 a barrel.
So, and the money is made, right, because they offer the ethanol people a bunch of tax credits, right?
Yeah.
And so somehow with that margin of the money that they save with the tax credit, then they're able to pay these pipeline people something to move
Isn't that
transport.
Isn't that hard to believe?
That seems crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just building the infrastructure for it seems wild. So you know that there's some crazy bullshit going on somewhere.
Well, it's tax
it
credit
doesn't make it right. Well, I know.
It's tax credit bullshit.
It is.
You know, we're just we're making it
so
more
we're
complicated.
subsidizing just another useless oil.
Is it useless though? Because what's our other option for these?
Well, you could not do. I mean, you could just get rid of ethanol.
Okay, so that's an option.
I mean,
what is there any other option to deal with CO2? You can only put so much in Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I don't have the answer for that, but
you can't burn it because that releases methane, which is bad.
Yep, and if you just let it go, right, it's a greenhouse gas. Am I right on there? Yeah.
Well,
So
it's not as bad as CO, but
bad for the rainforest and so forth. So
think of the whales. Jamie.
Yep, that's right. Nuke a gay whale for Christ. My favorite T-shirt.
So the one zipping up through Emmett County, though, is that going up to an ethanol plant in Minnesota, I assume?
Must be.
No. It literally goes all the way to North Dakota.
Well, no, the one
one
in North Dakota goes up to Sioux Falls.
So the finger you're talking about.
Right here?
Going off to,
This guy, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's the plant in...
There must be one up by Algona.
Titanka's got one roughly somewhere in
Oh,
there.
that's
right?
probably that's probably that one.
That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
where
yeah.
this starts.
Yep, that's where it is.
But then the jaunt north
This
must
one,
be
yeah.
up to Minnesota or something.
Algona's in the southern part of Kossuth County.
Yeah.
Algona's East Emmitsburg.
That's right.
Yeah, right here.
You know, there's you do know that Kossuth County is unconstitutional, right, Jim?
But yeah, well, they should have split it in half, the bastards.
Iowa
Make it
State
even
Constitution?
Yeah.
Really?
And nobody's ever sued the state, Jim.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, hey, this may be my career maker.
Yeah.
There is.
What's the basis? Why is it unconstitutional? I'm not familiar with that.
My understanding is the state constitution limits the size of a county.
Oh.
Physical size.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Okay.
And there was originally a Bancroft County.
Oh, okay.
Which at that time was nothing but swamps.
Mm.
And it never really officially got going, and
Mm-hmm.
they swallowed it. They
Yeah.
swallowed it in with Kossuth County, and nobody complained.
And between Bancroft and and Algona, that's still all swampy, I think. They're
Yep.
wetlandy.
My great grandfather was always telling me about. I mean, of course, he lived to be 102, I think. But he was always talking about draining Kossuth County. It's like like the modern marvels of his time is like the Wright brothers flew an airplane. We drained Kossuth County. And Neil Armstrong walked on the moon.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't spend much time at all because I don't know Kossuth County
There's
at
nothing
all.
in Kossuth County.
Yeah. It's Algona and then a bunch of.
Well, I went, but I
Soy
went.
City, Buffalo Center.
I went to Bancroft.
Actually, Buffalo Center is further
north.
Yeah.
I went to Bancroft to look at. They have a telepharmacy. They had one of the first telepharmacies, and it was a group out of Texas that started a telepharmacy there. Telepharmacy is essentially a pharmacy that has no pharmacist on site. You verify everything via webcam. You counsel via webcam when people come in. Great option for some rural areas. But this Texas outfit came in and started it out of Dallas so they could learn how Iowa's laws regarding telepharmacies work and then help write the laws in Texas and then open them all over West Texas and everywhere. These guys are crazy. But it just wasn't utilized. Like people were still using Algona, and you know, when you do 100 prescriptions a week, you can't
Sustain that.
Can't make it work, even not paying a pharmacist full time.
Wow. Huh.
So they're gonna lose their telepharmacy.
Interesting.
Actually, today was the last day. Closed. Suck it, Bancroft.
Well, so back to this pipeline thing, I think what the strategy is that these companies are trying to do is they're trying to pay landowners for an easement.
Yeah.
And then
if the landowner says no.
Right, yeah, well, so if they say, well, I think what they're trying to do is like divide and conquer, so they'll find some like non-operator landowner here that doesn't give a shit. They're like, "Oh, you'll give me how much? Okay, fine, whatever." And then they skip over the field over, you know, the next guy, and they get them and stuff. And then I think the plan is that they'll go eminent domain. Yeah. So,
which that was one of Reynolds' things too, in the debate was the use of actually about the pipeline, and she's like, I can't remember. I shouldn't even brought it up because I can't remember the quote specifically now, but I'm pretty sure she was like, she hemmed and hawed like the normal politician. So
yeah, well, so eminent domain, like the basic concept of it is that if there's some sort of compelling public need interest for whatever, you know, like we need your yard for the interstate highway or something, like the public interest outweighs the guy being a jackass and being like, no, fuck you,
$1 million
right?
bucks for his 100 square feet or whatever. Yeah,
that's the idea. So they offer just compensation, fair market value or whatever for the property, and that keeps the one standalone guy from being able to
leverage,
throw his property rights over the public good is the idea. Where I think
where's the
distinction
public good
here,
in this
right?
project?
Yeah, right. Is that it's private companies that are.
You could argue that the public good is in not spending a bunch of money on tax credits.
Yeah.
So
in a world of 8% inflation,
I think they're bound for litigation over this. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure there's people that are taking on names for class action.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm sure. Well, and at what point, like, I'm sure this is set out too, but when do you qualify to even try to invoke eminent domain? Like, what percent?
I don't think it's not a high bar to try to invoke eminent domain, is it?
I mean, you can try, but actually,
well, but I mean, like, even
do they have to have 60% of the land?
I don't even think it's not a. Jim might know, but
I don't off the top of my head, but
it's not a hard thing though. I don't think.
Well, so with what I recall from, I went to the informational meeting, which was a requirement that these companies were supposed to do in all the counties. It was amazing. So,
God, I wish I would have been.
It was peak COVID.
Yes.
Narrow mask in sight.
Yes.
And
I do recall the conversation about that.
That was funny.
Oh, that would have been good.
And the VFW was chock full of people.
Yes.
And
it's better.
I remember the pictures from the paper.
Well, and if you've seen they took her gerbs thing from South Park. So it was there was people or somebody from the Iowa Utilities Board or some lackey or something like that, which I guess is the government thing that's supposed to say yay or nay. You have yes or no. You have met all our requirements to even have this project proceed under state approval or whatever. So there's that element to it. And then you had the people from the company that were there shilling for their whole shtick or whatever. And then there was somebody else that was like another bureaucrat overseeing everything to make sure that the utilities board was doing it right. And yeah.
Sounds efficient.
Yes.
It was super efficient.
Something we should definitely spend our tax money on for sure.
And it took on the tenor of, you're from Des Moines there, fancy pants, you're coming to there trying to tell me what to do. So,
confirm.
And they spelled everything out ahead of time. It's like, this is an informational meeting, this is step 1 out of 200. We haven't put a shovel in the ground. But by that, they sent letters out to everybody and stuff, and it said eminent domain in it.
They were
everybody was super
Yeah.
stirred up over the thing, which I get. I mean, okay, fine. But if you just like listen to the stuff that they said, it made sense. I mean, I was like, okay, well, I get where they're saying, and it was just immediate. Like as soon as they opened the floor up, it was just people just like, all right, I'm gonna tell you what I think.
My great grandpappy owned this family farm for 100 years,
and it was just like these people were just on the defensive immediately from
Well, and that the company is some slicksters in suits. And maybe they dressed it down, but they're driving nice cars. They're making good money.
I don't know.
They
Northwest Iowa.
So they had
There's a lot of money here. Don't get me wrong.
There is. Yeah.
They had the company's reps they had a couple of fairly attractive women that were there.
Smart.
Smart
Smart
and
move.
then they had kind of a nerdy guy. And then I don't know, one of the girls was trying to well, I put my boots on and I grew up on a farm and
relating.
trying to work the I'm relatable angle, and that did not sell at all.
I feel like Dave probably just saw right through that business. He was probably all over it.
Yeah. Well,
and that's probably his land.
I
right?
can see
ish.
I can see why you would
It
take
goes through Groover, right?
take the position of being like, I don't want this to go through. I'm not interested in having an easement. I got tile in my field already. You're gonna fuck that up if you come in and dig it. So there's lots of compelling reasons why being opposed to it is a sensible position. I don't fault anybody for taking a certain stance on this whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I think the fact of the matter is that they're picking people off with big money.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
they'll get enough consensus or quorum or however you want to describe it to get it done. You think?
Yeah, well, I think that they're honing in on people and they're saying, okay,
here's
how much, and then they got their easement there. Then they get down the road a little bit, get another one. And then another one.
Sure.
So I think they'll put their chain together that just has got little links missing.
I'd love to know that. I'd love to know those numbers they're throwing out. What kind of economics and what kind of tax credits make sense in the long run for the company.
Right.
This must be insane money because look what farmland's running for right now. The value of land is crazy.
Well, when ethanol makes sense when oil's over $100 a barrel or something, I mean it makes sense then, right? I mean,
it does.
It's heavily subsidized.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Saudis are going to jack prices up, I mean, ethanol is, when corn's not wildly high, I mean.
What about when both are wildly high?
It's a bad deal for everyone, I feel like.
Because I think corn's pretty high right now, too.
Yeah.
$6.85 at Superior.
Yeah. That's a good price.
Is that where the family's been heading?
Oh, Chuck's putting his in the bin.
Does he he does have a bunch of bins, doesn't he?
Well,
yep.
I mean,
hang on, wait for the price to go up.
Yeah.
I mean,
what?
I don't know. As a business owner in small towns, I love it when there's high prices. Farmers spend their money.
They do.
Say what you will, they buy new trucks, they buy new buildings, they buy things.
They got to park that money somewhere so they can have a tax write-off, so they don't get eaten alive.
Absolutely.
By the Fed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
I guess if you like paying taxes, Cole, you go ahead. So.
You got to make money to have taxes. I work for free. Don't you know that, Tony?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The CEO's the only one that makes money.
Yeah.
Well,
$1.6 million.
I don't get the newspaper anymore. So I
was there any blowback over that, or did
just at the hospital?
Yeah.
There's lots of griping about, they're Vera away and blah blah. I shouldn't talk about it, Vera, but Well, I really probably just shouldn't talk about it here.
Yeah.
Next subject.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that when the paper goes, because I was hoping this Thursday I didn't know if there'd be something about the trial, because there was all that issues last time we had a.
Yeah, I think they learned the last time around.
Last time we had a murder trial.
No more tweeting.
No more hashtag Eagle Amy.
Well, there's a difference between coverage and then like
wild speculation
right.
on social media.
I think there was definitely some speculation pieces to her Vera coverage as well.
Yeah.
I don't have any proof of that, and I'm sure her article is well written with sources and whatnot, but there was some grumbling. That was the grumbling I heard.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
My neighbor owns that now.
What's that?
Estoril paper. Jerry Wiseman bought it.
Oh, yeah.
He
owns the
Armstrong.
Yeah, like 4 of them or something.
He's got a few. Yeah. It's a good dude.
I don't know.
Like Jerry.
Noise. All right, let's pipeline it up.
Taking some Iowa landowners to court. You can see the proposed pipeline would stretch across the state. The suit comes after those landowners refused to allow surveyors on their property. KCCI's Lauren Johnson is here with what...
Oh, yeah. So I think this is just over the preliminary surveying element to it. So with a little bit of notice, like 30 days or 2 weeks or something like that, the company can say, hey, we got a project that's prospective. We're going to come survey.
Yeah.
And apparently
that's going over well.
That's apparently, so I don't think it is here.
That reminds me. So
I think they've got, Jed Clampett out there with the 12 gauge waiting for him to come onto the quarter section.
Yeah, those surveyors are kind of like the...
They changed the pitchfork out for the old 12 gauge type of American Gothic going on.
Yeah, surveyors are like the sign of bad things to come, right?
Yeah.
So
for farmland, for sure.
I used to spend a lot of time in Meade, Kansas, and southwest Kansas. It's like the third to last county from the southwest corner.
Yeah.
And there's an incident there known as the Lone Tree incident, I think, and it was one of the last like Indian massacres or whatever on the plains, and it was a surveying crew from the state who was they're platting out the county.
Went out there and got scalped or something, huh?
Yeah. They got attacked because the Indians are like, surveyors not good.
No. They were wrong.
White man with map.
Yeah.
Legal options landowners have. Lauren?
Well, Stacy, Iowa Code says surveyors do have the right to go on those properties of those landowners, and that's as long as they give them a 10-day notice in the mail before they arrive. Suits have been filed by Navigator CO2 against 4 landowners in northern Iowa. Navigator CO2 says the landowners denied surveyors onto their properties. The company argues that under Iowa Code, their surveyors have the right to go onto property to assess whether or not the area is viable enough for the carbon pipeline project. Vicki Holz's property in Woodbury County was approached for the project, and she told the surveyor to leave.
And I told him to get the HELL off of this land.
Yes.
The suit.
Go Vicki.
I like Vicki.
That's the most Iowa thing you'll see.
Get the HE double hockey sticks off my land. Yeah. By golly.
It also outlines that landowners need to be notified 10 days before a surveyor comes out. Holz says she was notified, but doesn't think that's enough.
It's just totally wrong that just because they send me a letter saying that they can survey gives them permission to trespass and go on my property.
The lawsuit for the...
I think your issues with the legislature, not the... I mean...
Assuming
if
that's
there's a
assuming
code,
that's the right code.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
If the code section says they can do it, I mean, what's your defense?
I'm sorry.
here?
I thought I'm in America, Jim.
Yeah.
I thought I have the right to be a
You're probably
landowner.
talking about some law that was passed in like 1885.
Yeah, I
or
suppose.
something.
A horse can't eat a fire hydrant either
Right.
in Marshalltown, Iowa.
Yeah. Thank God.
Thank God.
Landowner in Clay County alleges that when the surveyors arrived on the property, the owners threatened to, quote, let the dog go on them if they didn't leave. And in Butler County, the landowner allegedly, quote, nearly ran over the Navigator representatives when they came out. One agricultural lawyer says Navigator took the right steps and that landowners should work with the company if anything goes wrong.
But if there is any sort of damage to the property, Navigator's required to pay for that. So if there's crops in the field that somehow get damaged, they're required to help mitigate.
Ag law is a thing?
She was a kind of an assistant when I was there.
So what's ag law? Is that just the laws
It's this kind of stuff, yeah.
Oh, mostly like property rights?
Yeah, I mean, it would be property, the sphere of property law would be kind of a umbrella
overarching
over,
of
yeah, I mean,
ag law.
There's other stuff that would come in, so like
probably chemicals.
Leases, contract law would be another overlapping area.
Chemicals would probably be environmental.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, this would be this kind of stuff, and like probate, estate planning, that kind of thing, succession. Sure. But stuff that's tied to property for the most part. So
Iowa State Extension offers a wonderful farm succession planning workshop.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Megan led one, or didn't lead it. I mean, she.
I'm curious. What's the substance?
They bring in someone from Iowa State just to talk about succession planning and the importance of.
I probably know the
memorializing all that stuff and.
Yeah, one of my classmates, I think, works for Iowa State in that universe now.
Oh, yeah,
she was in private practice for a while, and then I think the lack of.
Well, I think it's just
yeah, it's better fit for her. Put it that way.
Teaching,
I think. Well, or just being a staff attorney for.
Oh, sure.
For a university like that would be a pretty good gig.
And it is an important thing that people probably look over. They're just like, oh, well, my kids will get it.
This whole pipeline law thing. You guys remember the movie There Will Be Blood?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Reminds you of that kind of, huh?
There's this one holdout.
Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah.
You missed it, Cole. One of the landowners was going to sick the dog on the surveyors.
And this other lady told him to get the HELL.
It was the Clay County one that said they're going to turn the dogs loose.
Yeah.
Vicky from Woodbury County said, I told them to get the HELL off my property.
The Clay County one was probably cooking meth. To be fair.
He was like, do you really want to come onto the property? Think about this.
Your hazmat suit.
It's definitely not going to be natural or any kind of CO2. Let's get the real Northwest Iowa substance of choice.
Freaking Clay County.
Yeah.
Suckers.
Oh, funny stuff. Well, so how do you guys feel about breed-specific legislation? Are you familiar?
like pit bull bans?
Pit bull bans is what we're talking about. The dog thing.
That's an Esterville thing.
Yeah.
As long as Esterville's not getting sued again.
Oh man,
what a fucking asshat that guy was. Sorry for my language.
Didn't that go big?
It did. It was like $20,000 or something.
Well, ridiculous. I think the city cheesed out and settled.
They settled.
They did.
They wrote a check.
I can't believe it either because
I don't think nothing went to trial. They just sued and settled, I think.
I gotta get me one of them.
Free money?
Yes.
All right. Here's a pit bull thing.
Some dog owners are thinking about moving out of a small eastern Iowa town because of the controversy surrounding their pit bulls. We've been following the city of Keystone's pit bull ban for months now. Over the Memorial Day weekend, the city officially told some of the residents they had just days to get rid of their dogs. Several of them appealed and are now able to keep their dogs for now. One woman told us she may now be looking for a new place to live.
I don't want to raise my kids in a town where they're constantly going to have to be walking around on eggshells, worrying about who in town is going to turn them in for something minor or something not even worth turning in at all.
The city.
Well, how about this, lady? What about the people that have kids that don't want to get chewed up by your stupid pit bull? How's that sound?
I mean, pit bulls are just about as dumb a dog as you could ever find. So
here's my hot take: pit bulls are a scourge on the earth and need to be eradicated. whole cloth. How's that sound?
talking about worldwide ban.
That's right. How about just pets? All pets of every kind.
I feel like it's like pit bull, and then here's some lab, and then you just got some dogs just aren't bright dogs, and I feel like pit bulls definitely are not super intelligent.
Well,
they're not winning awards for achievement for intelligence anymore.
We have X amount of dog attacks in a year, right? And like what, 2/3 of them or something are attributable to pit bulls?
Yeah,
Is that the basic statistic?
I mean, it's a lot, for sure.
I thought it was 2/3 Chihuahuas, 1/3 pit bulls.
Yeah, it is like the Chihuahuas too. I mean, they're just dumber in a box of rocks as well.
Can we zoom in the pit bull, Anderson? and get a little.
That's a decent segue.
And get a little.
I feel like.
Get a little knowledge dropped on us.
Yeah, man. It is.
I mean.
Oh, I don't have his phone number.
Oh,
I just think it'd be great to get his hot take on this, because I think he was breeding them in Fort Dodge for a while.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like that's the kind of people who have pit bulls.
That is
the backyard breeders.
Well, that's the culture.
And that's why they're so darn dumb. People just hear pit bull and they're like, you love them or you hate them. But I agree. I mean, I have this irrational probably fear of like my small children getting like attacked because they smell like our idiot golden retriever, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, and they're small little girls, so I'm protective anyway. And,
Well, and I'm pretty sure a pit bull could eat you. You know.
It could eat my 10mm for sure.
Well, yes.
I mean, that's what it's gonna eat if it's around me.
Well,
I guess I feel like, especially if it looks at my girls wrong. But
well,
I don't care if it's on a leash or not.
The pro pit bull people are like, the argument that they always fall back on is that it's not the breed, it's the dog owner.
Yeah.
So why aren't we shooting these owners?
Yeah, well,
good question.
That's
like nothing for that, but there are some pretty funky statistics out there about the pit bull breed.
But so, I mean, if they try to argue that there's no correlation between the way a dog is bred and its propensity for violence or anything like that, I don't feel like people have a problem generalizing about, well, you know, Chihuahuas are generally aggressive or your lab is generally docile or something like that. You know what I mean? So any other context with a dog, the same argument doesn't apply. Yeah. You know, so
you're absolutely right there. I feel like.
Yeah, so that seems to me to be irrational. But and they also say, so, you know, so pit bull owners are more likely to be using them for, like, you know, fighting or whatever. Yeah. So if that's the case, then how can that be true? And then also the dog doesn't, you know, have immutable characteristics that make it pro. I mean, how can both things be true at the same time?
I mean, if you look at shepherds or Dober, I mean, those dogs just have been generationally bred for some of their aggressive, protective.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get that, I mean, for the same reason I bought my dog, because he's bred to hunt. I mean, they've been bred to have a specific aggressive, like. So I mean, they should. I mean, that's their breed characteristic, kind of,
and retained genetic memory and instinct is a thing,
right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
you didn't have to teach your dog that, like, run and chase birds.
Yes.
Like, that's what that dog does.
My
dog's 9 pounds. That dog's not going anywhere near a bird.
Yeah,
it will mess her up.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not just the propensity for aggressiveness either that's a problem. It's the combination of that plus the ability to effectuate,
to do harm.
So I don't think anybody could reasonably argue that a pit bull isn't a big, strong dog, generally speaking, with strong jaws and a big square head, and
that genetic trait comes out even in the mutts, like that the toy boxer. I mean, even the kind of like a boxer is kind of an offshoot of that same genre. You know, they have the same character, like bulldog. pit bull have that same like square, like you said,
Yep.
big head, big mouth,
thick skull.
Yep, and like the draw strength for crushing. I mean, they've got those characteristics. You know, the big wide mouth, so they can hold on to your head and still breathe at the same time. I mean,
crush your skull.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
it's like a brown bear.
Yeah. Well, and then the other argument I always hear from the pro or the anti-ban crowd, the pro pit bull crowd, is okay, what percentage then of this breed does it have to be, and how are you going to prove that this is a pit bull, and who's subject?
Right.
Which I hate,
the mutt
because
thing
they're
comes
sitting
into it,
here and
right.
splitting hairs.
If they look like it,
But then, exactly.
You're gonna pay for a genetic test to say, well, you know,
well, this is
I
a
mean,
pit bull. Okay, we paid for the genetic test. Now we
Right.
can gas it.
Yeah,
Which is, yep. That's why ban pets is my platform.
I feel like the 9-pound Chihuahua. I mean, they might bite a lot of people, but they're not killing a lot.
Well, they're not able to.
Right.
Right.
And they're a small, tiny dog.
They
so
want to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're dumb. They're dumb. And
You remember Hickman's dogs? Those fucking things.
Those things were the worst dogs in the world, dude.
Just walk in and it'd just be like
straight
this,
to the Achilles.
Right? Yeah.
They're
just
trying to take you down.
This wave of
who was ever looking at the dogs when you went to Hickman's house? Though? I mean,
fair.
But
I couldn't help it. I got attacked.
well, to the point though. I mean, they're tiny little dogs.
You remember that
so they're
time
scared of everything.
I shot a paintball gun in Hickman's basement?
Dude, that basement was like the Wild Wild West.
Oh my god!
Adults never went there.
Dude,
Anything went.
He
That was
hands me this
insane.
paintball gun, and I'm standing up with the gun pointing at the floor, right? And yeah, my finger was on the trigger. Okay.
Poor trigger discipline.
Agreed. I was a teenager. The trigger fires. The paintball
The
bounces.
trigger fired?
Yeah,
The gun shot itself.
yeah. It did.
I want to clarify that.
Through some sort of Alec Baldwin
It wasn't
sorcery,
me.
the gun.
Oh, that was a good.
So
I feel like there's some gravity involved in this.
the
Tony.
paintball bounces. It hits the floor and it bounces up and hits the ceiling.
It explodes.
Yeah, I mean, and he's like, and of course we're all a little stunned at what just happened, and I'm like, and of course they're like, why'd you pull the trigger in the house? I'm like, why do you have a loaded paintball gun in the house? You know,
Dude, Tony, it's me here.
Oh man,
one story of a million. We could do 3 podcasts on Hickman.
Do a
I
whole
miss that
series.
guy.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. It was.
I still watch Memento about once a year.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah. That was a lawless place.
That basement was. Well, so do you remember his cousin Mark? Remember that guy? Okay, so his cousin Mark came to babysit. And then Andrew and I called each other Mark all the time.
Mark, you love Guar.
Right, because of the Guar thing. So we're over there. There's like 15 people going by like, hey, Mark, you know? And we like had no idea who was talking to who. It was just impossible. But that guy was like the worst babysitter ever. He's just like, yeah, man, go buy booze and weed and whatever. And it's just insane. Just like 2 weeks of debauchery at the basement.
Because Leslie's out gallivanting.
Yeah, they were
around
just,
Europe
I don't know,
or
like,
something.
Right, yeah. It was insane. Oh my
man.
God.
Yeah, dude.
It's hard to believe he's been gone like 10 years already.
10 years.
Isn't that nuts? It's over 10.
I just
would
saw.
say it's a lot longer than 10.
I saw a post from Aaron the other day, and I was thinking about Andrew, and I was just like, Jesus, he was young.
Oh man, yeah, like
Young
22 or 3 or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jeez.
that had to have been like in the early 2010s, huh?
I think I want to say it was 2011. I feel like, yeah. Yep. So
Wild.
yeah, very wild.
We had some mighty fine times.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Hey, you were even our drummer for a while in the band.
That's
I remember,
right.
Tony. Yeah,
It was the best one you had.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I just did my job, stuck to the beat.
Stuck to the beat, kept with it.
Didn't try to get fancy or nothing. No solos or anything like that.
And then the 20-minute drum fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yup. Worked like a charm.
Yep.
Oh, God.
You lay down a basic rock beat with the best of them.
Well, my days of lugging around this fucking 4x12 speaker cab are over. My back can't take it anymore. I don't know how the hell I did that so
We're gonna have
much.
to get Tony some albuterol here pretty
I
quick.
got it's in the car actually.
Good. I wanted to know where it was. I heard you wheezing from over here.
I got my
so-
inhaler. It's
Good.
up there in the center console, right in front of the cup holder.
Good.
I should have brought it with me. No, the only reason I can help with corn harvest is thanks to Claritin and albuterol.
Yeah,
so.
I was thinking the combine's not a good spot for Tony when I can hear you wheezing over here.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Well, let's see. We've been at it 90 minutes already, boys. You want to wrap her up here?
I'm probably gonna have to. Yeah,
Okay.
It's almost after work in the morning, Cole.
Yeah.
I got to do some work on some pheasants.
Yeah, who you hunting with?
Pops.
Shooting with Bill.
Yeah.
Bilbo.
Hopefully I can shoot his and mine.
Yeah. Is he like your videographer now?
No.
Your photographer?
No, he's still hunting.
Yeah, I figured.
But they
You
just don't,
should-
he doesn't quite have the trigger speed or the well, so he's wearing after shooting shotguns for 50 years, he
Yeah.
decided that earplugs were the thing. And so he can't quite hear the birds get up like I can.
Not quite as quick.
Yeah. So his getting up, getting shoulder mounted and not quite as quick. And I'm still too dumb to put earplugs in. I want to hear the birds get up.
You should be taking notes here, Cole, because you're going to be his age one day.
But I've had my hearing checked pretty regularly with my, because I've been around the shotgun shooting since I was 7, I guess. But when you think about it, you don't really shoot that many times when you're out bird hunting.
Well, if you're good.
Well, I mean, just in general, like,
I told you about my experience.
Yeah,
in July. I shot two Mondays of league at the Isaac Walton in July.
Oh,
and that's where you know that you don't shoot that much because.
Because this big,
the
big
Bruce
blue
giant.
spot right here.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to figure that out the next
Oh,
day.
yeah.
That's for
It's
darn
like,
sure.
I've never done this before, and then
Well-
I'm going to do it again next week.
You're probably shooting, like 8s or something?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
and
light.
like
yeah.
1 ounce.
Right.
Not a big load or
Yeah.
anything.
Not like you got goose
Yeah,
buckshot in there or
The
something.
second
yeah.
week we shot European, so I got to shoot twice every time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, I got to shoot 3 times then.
Dude, I think that's rad that we got
The funny thing
shooting
was
team
the
They're
cousins.
good too.
Yeah.
The cousins told me when I got in town that week, they're like, "Hey, you want to come shoot trap on Monday night?" I was like, "I haven't shot a gun for years, and especially haven't shot a gun trying to actually hit something." And they're like, "That's okay. We're in last place." I'm like, "Okay, perfect. This is a team for me. This is my competition."
Can't hurt them, only help them, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know. I don't remember what I shot. I shot like 14 or something. They're like, "Hell, you did just as good as Dad did last week." Last week, I'm like, "All right." They're like, "You want to come back next week?"
Got a ringer in town, boys.
I mean, I've seen Gary shoot. He's a darn
Yeah,
good
they're
shot.
good,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, some of those boys are good.
Yeah.
Not me though. No.
Yeah.
Chuck probably doesn't shoot.
I'm the balance
50
on
rounds
the
a week
team.
either. So
Well, Chuck's deaf too, but that doesn't count.
I found trap shooting for me does not translate to pheasant hunting.
You know what?
I don't feel like.
You know what cracked me up about that? I've never been out there before.
Yeah.
We're out there shooting shotguns against the hill, and you're shooting right here, right? And right here is like 3 white-tailed deer. I'm not shitting you.
they don't have any problem.
And it's like, it doesn't bother them that those guns are going off all the time. And so I start telling Gary and Joshua about Ron White's bid about the deer, the jumps. You remember Ron White's bid about his cousin who's the big deer hunter.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, it's great. It's like, yeah, he does this whole thing where his cousin's like, yeah, we were out there at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was covered in deer piss. I don't know why. You weren't there, pussy. I had a, scope with a .22 and a barreled rifle and blah, 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 and all, 500 foot per second bullet. And when that doe looked up to lick that salt block I had put there, got her right in the head, And then Ron White's like, yeah, well, I got one with a minivan doing 55 miles an hour in the horn blare. That's an elusive creature, Turns out if you slow the bullet down to 55 mile an hour and put a horn on it, the deer will actually jump right out in front of it. These kids had never, that's from when we were in college, right?
Yeah, yep.
So Gary and them never seen it. They looked that up on YouTube. They thought that was funnier than hell. I'm like, we're just out here shooting guns at deer standing right there. Like, all you got to do is turn 20 degrees, boom, you got one.
So when Mike Christensen lived up, and you remember Loy was the first one to build up and made Marion up there?
Okay.
And so Christensen bought that, and so I bow hunted at the very...
On his deck?
Well, yeah, I could have. But I bow hunted in the very corner, so I was about 10 feet from that northwest corner there. There's like a big, huge tree, and then there's a smaller, nice, real straight tree. Well, there used to be a deer stand right there. and boy, I can tell you, there was a few times that I would be sitting there in my deer stand and just about fall out. Someone would, unload with 30 rounds of A&R, and it sounds like it's directed right at you. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, what are they doing? I can hear, rounds hitting the clay over there. And I mean, there were some big deer in that Fort Defiance, but half the time I was so scared I was going to get shot from someone shooting over at a whitetail or a doe standing back behind me.
If you remember, can you just go shoot whatever out there?
No, well, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Not the deer, obviously.
Well, right, but you can take your handguns
and
all, and any rifles and.
Yep. And they actually, they have a decent bow area, but I mean, if it's nice out, why would you go out and shoot the arrows there? It's not a bad...
Especially when you got a free lot right next to your house.
Yeah.
Shoot arrows out there.
I got to get the 306 out here this fall.
Make big holes.
Yeah, no doubt. I kind of want to shoot a coyote this year.
I'd shoot coyote.
Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they explode.
Yeah, I've never shot one before.
And you can shoot as many as you want, right?
You can. Yeah, there's no season. It's open all the time.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that if you're like hunting party on Sunday, if you would go downwind and to the opposite side, and they're pushing your ground down there, you sat there with a shotgun, you probably have a couple coyotes walk by you.
Yeah.
Because they're a quarter mile. I mean, they'll smell you, hear you.
Yep.
I mean, and they're gone. They're
pretty wiry.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you got to shoot them from 500 yards.
Well, yeah.
Well, but
30-06.
So
right.
We had a problem in Lakefield for a while that if the wind was just right, if the wind was howling and you're out, you could, you have to be real careful, obviously, because you got your own dog.
You'd walk up on one?
Oh yeah, there was. I shot 3 with a 12 gauge.
Really?
One year, and it must have been that year must have been just a bumper year for coyotes because I literally shot 3 with a 12 gauge, most of them were on like a windy day where they we snuck up on them on accident. You didn't know they were there.
Sure.
But they look so much different than a golden retriever, and so I could see our dogs, and then I'd be like, oh, there's a coyote,
Yep.
There's no guilt there because they're
awful.
Yeah.
There's no redeeming traits.
They're also a scourge that need to be eradicated.
Coyotes are one of the most incredible species in the entire world. Are you kidding?
Dingo, I think, would take that. I feel like the dingo is like a supercharged yote.
It ate my baby.
The dingo, I mean, it lives on a fucking island in the middle of nowhere, you know. Of course it can survive.
The U.S., isn't it?
Well, they got the Great Dingo Fence, which is actually the longest man-made structure in the world.
The Dingo Fence. I'm not familiar.
Saw it on a thing.
Okay.
It's this giant fence in Australia.
I gathered
there
as much.
for the dingoes. And,
the only guy I know that's been there is sitting right here. So.
Yeah. To block them.
Keep them out.
Saw it on a thing.
That's hilarious.
The other thing I was watching about one of those crazy Arab countries. I think it's
You'll get us banned off YouTube, Andy.
I think it's UAE. They're making this type in Arab the line.
No, that's Saudi Arabia.
Is it Saudi?
Yeah, the Saudis are doing
They're making a horizontal skyscraper.
Yes.
That goes like 10 miles.
No,
15 miles.
Yeah, it's way longer than that.
Line City.
Line City. Yes.
Some kind of geometric thing where it's supposed to be super efficient and it's been debunked, and the new
smart city, the line.
Like this one, maybe?
Yes, it's a mega city project.
Yes,
Countless governments and companies have taken a stab at building a city of the future. There's Songdo in South Korea, the Alphabet-funded Quayside project in Toronto, which was abandoned in May of last year, and both Singapore and Barcelona have tried to modernize with smart sensors. In January of 2021, Saudi Arabia announced plans for its own futuristic city called The Line. Instead of communities sprawling outward from a central location, they would be built vertically and arranged, in a line, hence the name. Even though the vision for the city stretches 170 kilometers, it would do away with cars entirely and instead be connected by high-speed rail that would travel the entire length in just 20 minutes. And each individual community would be largely self-contained, so that almost anything you could need, be it a school, a doctor, or a quick meal, would be only a 5-minute walk away. The government says the line will run on 100% clean energy and make extensive use of sensors and AI to...
So it's basically like a sliver of Coruscant from Star Wars.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. They watch Star...
Okay.
They got enough money. They can
go
make
170 kilometers in 20 minutes.
You'd have to be clipping.
That's 510 kilometers an hour. It's 300 miles an hour, which is great if you want to go from one end to the other.
But if you want to stop.
Right. Yeah, not going to work. If you want to get off at a station, not going to happen.
It's only if you want to go to A to Z. A to Z, you're good.
Yes, that's
you're going quick,
Tony.
Plus, you have to get up to speed and then stop at the end too. Averages are a real bitch.
Yeah, magnets, man.
You don't want your head to come off the top of your cervical spine.
Yeah, G's are a thing.
Yeah. 1G acceleration is a pretty major acceleration.
Well, you have those at it's Star Trek technology, but get those inertial dampeners going. Yeah.
The inertial dampeners.
I'm sure the dirty Saudi oil princes are gonna spend their billions on the inertial dampener. Kind of like I was thinking when I was watching that, the largest oil producer on the planet is going to go green. Seems to make a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, and is this even green though? I mean,
it's zero carbon. There's no carbon.
Okay.
Okay. Well, all right then.
Yeah, all right.
The idea sounds wonderful.
Closed.
I'm sold.
Manage the city's services, and all of this is supposed to be nestled in the pristine natural landscape of the Tabuk province with minimal impact on the environment. Now the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has revealed grandiose renders of what the city will look like to match the grandiose plans. The line is envisioned as a giant glass and mirrored wall, 170 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, and 500 meters tall. That's taller than the Empire State Building. It would have greenery stretching along the top, an open-air ventilation system to help maintain an ideal climate year-round, and it would house up to 9 million people. Now, the line is just one part of Saudi Arabia's controversial $500 billion NEOM megacity project. For one, the so-called virgin land that the government is building NEOM on is, unsurprisingly, not all that virgin. It is the ancestral and current home of many people, including members of the Hawatat tribe who are being forced from their homes for what many see as a vanity project that won't amount to much in reality. Those who have dared to speak out against the government's plans or refuse to give up their homes have been harassed and abducted by Saudi security forces, arrested, or in some cases killed. For example,
well, in prison and kill the dissidents. That's what you do.
For example, Abdul Rahim al-Hawati, a prominent Hawatat activist, was killed by police in April of 2020 after posting videos on social media trying to raise awareness of the forced displacement. All of this controversy has even led to some commercial partners pulling out of deals like Riot Games, which had signed on NEOM to sponsor the League of Legends European Championship. Backlash from the gaming community caused that to quickly unravel. Now, even if NEOM is eventually...
Video gamers don't like them.
Yeah.
But if Estoril had a Parks and Rec director, it could have city video game leagues.
That's true.
Esports are the way of the future.
Yeah.
Didn't Iowa Lakes? I think they had an esports team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the stipend was like $15K or something.
Yeah, it was
coach esports.
Oh, dude.
Shit, yeah. I'll be the World of Warcraft coach. Sign me up.
Level up, nerds.
That's right. Let's go run a dungeon.
Now they're just playing Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of a dinosaur in the video game.
I can't stand Fortnite.
Yeah.
I played it one time and I was not
It looks
good.
stupid to
And then
me. I
quit.
don't. It's like third person shooter.
Yeah.
With this weird like element of I'm gonna magically make stairs.
I'm
or
gonna make
something,
I'm gonna make a
yeah.
house around myself.
I don't get it.
And then yeah.
I feel like we're getting old.
Oh yeah, definitely
for sure.
I stayed with some friends at the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, and they had a Switch.
Yeah,
which I never played.
I got
before.
a Switch.
That's kind of cool.
Love it.
And they had all the old. They had like a NES simulator on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to play F-Zero again. That was fun.
Hell yeah!
It reminds me of the good old days.
Oh yeah.
I still have all my Nintendos.
I've
got my GameCube and my NES in the basement.
I've got a Game Boy Advance emulator on the old phone. Still bust out the Pokemon here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the new Pokemon
Did
for
ya?
my Let's Go Eevee. It's a remake of Pokemon Yellow.
Ooh.
Bought that on my Switch.
Maybe I should bust out the GameCube and see how good I am at old Tiger Woods golf.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, that game was awesome.
I never played it on
It was pretty
GameCube.
awesome.
I only played it on PlayStation.
Jim and I were the freaking. We
Played the
a
shit
lot
out of that in
Tiger
college.
Woods golf.
Yeah, we did.
We could not golf to save our life in real life. We didn't give a shit about golf. We didn't follow golf. We were like
just playing Gur.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
St. Andrews, whatever, with a
Yep.
40 knot wind coming off, blowing out to sea. Let's go.
Yep.
That and Guitar Hero.
Tap it. Tap it.
Yeah. And Guitar Hero, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I made the mistake of playing one of you.
Jimmy and I, probably the lowest part in our friendship might have been when
the Guitar Hero saga.
When you
Hero.
you finished one on Expert or something, didn't you? And he
Well, I
wasn't
mean, we were
there.
both there. We were both for like 3 weeks. We
Yeah.
were both trying. We were at the last, whatever, bark at the moon on
Yep,
Expert.
bark
you know?
yeah, on Expert. Well, and it was this thing like we'd been playing and having fun with it, and it was like morphing into this competition, and our personal lives were like increasingly starting to fade into the background in exchange for playing the video. Like we're skipping class, not showering, and it's just like, you know. And then Tony passes it finally one day. He stumbles through it. He's like, "Hey, I beat it." I'm like, "Fuck!" And that was it.
Neither one of us ever played again.
Then we never talked about it again.
Yeah. It's like, okay, good, because I need to go back to class.
Suppose I should
Because
try to
midterms are coming up.
Had to scratch together
It's
a few
getting
grades.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the Prince of Persia franchise was tough on me.
That was fun.
Too. Yeah, I used to get so pissed at fucking Smash controllers and whatever. Yeah.
I sunk so many Skyrim.
Well, I did.
I'm an Elder Scrolls
I played some.
junkie.
They had a 64 on their Switch too, so I played
Smash.
some Mario Tennis.
Oh, tennis.
I did.
So we had some battles there too.
Mario Tennis was bomb.
I did Wario and Waluigi, and these kids. It's like these 10-year-old kids I was staying with and their parents. I'm friends with their parents. They're like, no, it's not Waluigi. He's got some other name now.
Really?
I'm like, it's
It's
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
It's right there.
Luigi, Right. Waluigi.
Just like Wario.
Yeah.
So. Anyways.
Was Waluigi like offensive or something now? Or
I don't know.
What the hell happened?
How is it that
To the
midgets are still
Dagos.
midgets?
It's a good question.
I mean,
I'm just waiting for the shoe to
yeah.
drop on that one.
Yeah, we're just
My
slipping by.
social worker wife is my
Has a hard time. I
dude.
believe it.
She may lead something here, but if we have children in the school district,
We made a good effort, like my senior
Was
year. I feel like to do something else, and
it was like 75%.
Oh yeah,
for keeping it
I know.
pulled. It wasn't even close.
because I think the storm was the second biggest thing. and that was
I remember that. Yeah.
Which would have been great.
Yeah,
Yep. No midgets.
but I think one of the options was like the astral snowflakes or something, wasn't it too?
Leah loves
Blizzard.
Blizzard, yeah.
it. Leah loves it when I wear
Midget
ELC midget stuff out in public in Kansas.
Oh yeah, man.
My suggestion of ELC amoeba didn't get any traction, and I'm pissed because amoebas are fucking badass, man. They eat everything, and
like brains.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll just absorb.
This is stupid, amoeba.
No,
A
I don't know.
slow single-cell
I always kind of
organism.
troll Megan a little bit. I'm like, yeah, but it's like it's an empowering nickname because they're the mighty
midgets,
which you wouldn't think about.
Well, and I think there's a kid that has like achondroplasia or whatever in the school district.
In
now.
the school district, she's it's like second grade or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
So how's that going to be? You know, when that
Yeah,
kid's
we've
in high
had
school?
midgets before.
Yeah.
We'll have midgets after.
that's
I mean,
what,
the
that's
whole
really where it
reason
came
is-
from, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Back in the good old days when I guess it was all right. I mean,
Yeah. I am not part of that community, obviously, but how they settled on little people being the like preferred nomenclature, is interesting to me.
Is that really better? I don't know.
I don't know that I get a
Or
say.
dwarf or whatever. I mean,
because dwarfism is like the medical
Yeah,
terminology,
literally.
but
is being called a dwarf a pejorative or?
I don't know. It probably depends on context. It's probably a contextual thing. You can't be like, hey,
back when the girls' basketball team was going to state, I tried to tell Leah I wanted to get one of those signs that said "A midget lives here" to put in front of our house in Wichita.
Oh man,
But she
wouldn't
really
go
wouldn't
for
go
it?
for
It
that.
doesn't work really well outside of Esterville, does it?
at least it's still Wichita. Like you wouldn't be the most controversial
true.
thing. You got Westboro in town.
We still have Steve King.
Well, Westboro's in Topeka, and they
Oh,
that's not a
Topeka.
thing anymore.
They're not a thing in it because he died.
Yeah, I mean the Fred or whatever.
Fred Phelps died.
What? They weren't even that big to begin
No,
with, were
it
they?
was like
Yeah.
That was
10
media
people who
scare,
It was a family, one family.
they had a really good marketing department.
They did. The media.
Well, I think
Free-
yeah, and,
free media
I think they're all
marketing.
lawyers too, weren't they? Like there are a lot of
Probably.
lawyers. In there.
Probably, yeah.
Bunch of lawyers.
Those guys.
Typical. Classic.
Oh, I gotta get home,
All right.
gents.
Let's call it. Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
Have
Sign
a
off.
good night.